All right, we are live. So today I wanted to talk about becoming unstoppable. 2022 is here, and I hope all of you have amazing goals, amazing aspirations, and you're really taking them to heart. The reason I'm bringing up becoming unstoppable is because that is my word for 2022. And I asked in my Facebook group, what was your word? And I got a lot of amazing words going through that process, from hope to mindset to kindness to courage to knowledge. So everyone had amazing words. And if you are on the YouTube channel, please comment below. Let me know what your 2022 word is, because our words hold power. Our words hold power if we allow them to hold the power. And when I speak on unstoppability, right, becoming unstoppable, that's probably been my word since the 1990s, because I know how much power being unstoppable holds. It's great for your courage, it's great for your knowledge, and it's great for your bank account. It's great for all aspects of your life. If you can move forward through something, you can stretch into something completely new and transform in a way that even you might shock yourself in how you transform when you go through your process. So I want to share a story with you. I actually want to share two on how getting unstoppable is really going to move you forward in your journey, and how it can also be dangerous too, because there's the pros and there's also the cons. And so the first story I wanted to share was this was during my fighting career, and this guy calls me up. Don't know the guy from anywhere, but he calls me up and he says, "Hey, no one's sparring me. No one will box with me. Will you be willing to box with me? I need some sparring partners to get ready for my next fight." And I asked him, "Why won't anyone spar with you?" He's like, I'm too big and too powerful to go with most people." I'm like, "Great. This is going to be interesting." So I agreed to his offer. I'm like, "I'm down. Let's spar. Let's see what we can do." And when I saw him, I quickly realized why no one was going to spar with him. I mean, this guy was the size of a mountain. You know those people you walk closer and closer to, and they get bigger as you're walking near them? Like, that was this guy. So he's like 240 pounds, all muscle, and he's like 6'2". And I remember thinking to myself, like, "Oh crap, I'm gonna die today." Like, I was not expecting to do this, but it is what it is. Hey Gemma, how you doing? So we're getting our gear on, right? Getting ready to spar. And I'm talking with my coach, going over our game plan. And we start sparring. And I proceed to beat the crap out of this guy. Like, he can't touch me. I was way too fast. And I was shocked myself to go through that process and the way that it went through. I'm like, holy crap, I'm beating the crap out of a guy who's much bigger than I am. And looking at it, hindsight 2020, most people would say, "Wow, you're just more talented than that guy. You're just more talented." And the truth is, there were so many layers behind what happened in that day. Even I didn't realize all of the layers of that day. Because looking back, I was a professional fighter who knew how to fight, who trained with the best of the best. And so, regardless of who you put in that ring or that cage with me, I was going to do well. And I was going to do well because of the process that I went through. Life has a series of processes. I always say, when you're understanding what your process is, right, know where you're at and know where you want to be. And be really honest with yourself. I always remind people to have grace with themselves too. Have big goals, big dreams, big aspirations, but be careful, because if you go in if you go in too hot or if you go into something that you're not even close to ready for, that's when you get in trouble. So the reason I even took on the match with this guy was because I knew I had a background at high level fighting. I knew I had that. And I didn't know what was going to happen on the day. And yes, I thought he was going to kill me. I really did. In my mind, I'm like, wow, this guy is huge. I don't know what I'm going to do. But my training took over. All the reps that I put in took over. And now another story, because I think it's important to show both sides of this. So I had this guy that I had been working with, and we hadn't worked together that long, right? So we worked together for a couple weeks, and he ended up taking some time off. And so he ends up calling me, and he tells me he's getting ready for a fight. And I go, great, who are you fighting? He goes, I'm fighting this, I'm not going to say names, but I'm fighting blah, 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 blah. And I searched the guy up, and this guy's a professional. Now, the guy that I had been training with hadn't had even one amateur fight. And I'm like, why are you going to fight a professional when you haven't even fought amateur? And I haven't even really seen you spar before. Like the couple of times we trained together, it was just conditioning training. And his conditioning wasn't that good because he was trying to give up smoking. He said, you know what, Cliff? I have the belief in myself. I have the ferocity, and I'm going to go out 100%. I know I can go with anybody in the world. I'm thinking, dude, you haven't gone with anybody, though. Like, you've never gone with anyone. So shouldn't you go with someone who's a little more at your level to see where you're at before you make this big, large leap into the unknown? And he wasn't having it. He just wasn't going to listen to me. So I'm like, all right, I wish you the best of luck in whatever you do. I don't think this is a smart idea. I don't think you should take the fight. And so he ends up taking the fight. And I'm watching. He actually asked me to corner him too. And I wasn't going to corner him. I'm like, dude, I cannot corner you for this. I don't agree with this. I don't think it's smart. I'm not going to corner you. I can talk with people who may corner you, but I'm going to let them know the details of you're this amateur going into this professional fight and you have no experience or background. I'm not cornering you for it. And he understood. But anyway, fast forward, I'm in the stands and he comes out to get ready to fight this guy. And what ended up happening in the first 15 seconds, he gets knocked out flat on his face. And I see the audience is going up cheering and yelling, and I'm looking up hoping he's okay. Like, it took him a while to get up. If I had to guess, I'd say about 25 seconds. And that's a long time in fight world. Like, you don't want to be knocked out for 25 seconds. That's not a good place to be. I'm like, son of a bitch. I knew this was going to happen. So he ends up seeing me and he goes, well, I got the first one out of the way. So I'll see you at the gym on Monday. Like, see me at the... So this is how my mind works. I don't always tell people what I'm thinking because I want to protect feelings unless they ask me. If they ask me, I'm just going to tell them point blank. I knew he wasn't coming in on Monday for a couple of reasons. One, the commission wouldn't allow him to because he just got concussed. And two, he was speaking on adrenaline. See, he still felt good because you're going to feel good when your adrenaline is going up. The next morning, I knew his jaw was going to hurt like hell. And I knew there was no way he was coming back because he had stepped into a place he wasn't ready for. He had stepped into something that was too big and too dangerous for him. And sure enough, he never came back. He never sparred again. He never fought again. And so when I speak on unstoppable has layers to it. It's not just a word you throw out there and then you go take reckless, abandoned action and get yourself in trouble. Unstoppable is planned, it's precise, it's specific, it's risk-taking, but to enough, just enough risk, not some huge, audacious risk that you've never ever played on, because We run on pain and pleasure. We run on it. And if the pain is so great that it's like all your brain can say is, I never want to do that again. I never want to get in that position again. You don't make the pain threshold so insane that you can't do it. And this has happened in my fitness career where people go so damn hard, they beat the crap out of themselves, they don't finish the goal, or they don't go at all. They don't take any action. So you either go too big or you go too small. And that's dangerous to do. You do it just enough. See, this is the importance of coaching because a coach can see things you can't see. That guy that fought the pro, he could have been amazing. Just with the little bit of work that I worked with him, the athleticism this guy had was off the charts. But it didn't matter. Because if the pain threshold is too high, it's going to destroy your psyche. And so unstoppable is a process of things. And as I went through my process, one of the most important things I always did was I would always push past my limit, right? Because I need to learn my limit. I would push past just enough, stretch, and grow and learn the lesson. And if I push too much, because sometimes that happens, I would go to my safe space, wherever that is, whether that's a friend, whether that's a coach, whether that's myself, whatever that is, I go into that safe space, I regroup, readjust, reload, and get back to business. So whatever your word is, hold onto your word and take responsibility with the word that you hold on to. You know, stretch yourself enough and grow into that word. Grow into your word. So my unstoppable, I love it so much because our results are always exponential. They're always exponential. And I didn't even know that as I really started beginning my journey. But each piece adds to more pieces. So if you get one good habit can turn to 3, and 3 good habits can turn to 6. They stack on each other. So you get better and better. But what gets people in trouble is they'll try and do 9 habits very poorly. No, just get really good at the one habit first. Just get good at one. If you have a fitness goal, all right, change one eating habit, one exercise routine, one thing. Don't do a whole bunch of stuff. Even on my entrepreneurial journey, I didn't know what I was doing when I was getting into it. And so I started figuring out like, oh, okay, I need a specific audience to talk to. I need to market to a specific audience. There's a certain type of content that adds value to the specific audience. I need to understand them as fully as I can so I can figure out how to add the very best value, you know, how to give to them in as much of a way where they're like, wow, Cliff blew me away. He gave me so much because I wanted this and he gave me more than I thought I could get. But it's a process just like anything else. So have grace with yourself, believe in your journey, and remember the first dream is always the hardest. Once you catch your first dream, the next dream is easier from there because now you know the process. And when you know the process, the game becomes easier and easier and easier. And I always say you can travel faster by yourself, but you can travel further with a group. So find the right group of people who are going to help you on your journey, who are going to support you on your journey, who's going to give you the strategies, the systems, the knowledge on your journey so you can become the person that you want to be and crush it in your life. Make 2022 your best year. All right, Super Gemma, thank you for stopping by. Yes, it absolutely is about being reasonable. There is always room for change. People would surprise themselves on what they can become. They absolutely will if they go through the process and respect the process. I always say respect the process. Know that it never ever happens right out the gate, but again, there's that exponential result that people are looking for. So that's always a big reminder, is reminding them, even if it's a year process. It's interesting. The first 3 months, they feel like there's the stuck point. But that's the foundation. That's the building blocks to get you ready to just take off. And once you're able to take off, it's game over. And I've never had anybody, whenever someone takes off, they never go, "Ah, Cliff, I wish I didn't take off. I wish I would have just stayed stuck in the position that I was in." When I talk about greatness, it's in every single one of us. But we got to be willing to put in the reps, and we got to be willing to put in the steps in the right order and in the right process. When we do that, our greatness is going to show up. If we do what unfortunately my friend did and go in guns a-blazing, acting like a damn fool with no plan or no rationale, um, you learn lessons the hard way. And I don't want people learning lessons the hard way. It doesn't have to be that way. The process can be way easier than that. So believe in yourself. Comment below your 2022 goal. What are you looking to do? What is your word? What are you going after? And remember, there's an unstoppable person in you. Respect the process inch by inch. Take it inch by inch. What's the one thing you're going to do to stretch into something completely new and transform into the person that you want to be? So I appreciate you all for stopping by, and I hope you have an amazing day, and let's keep crushing 2022. Take care.